morning, guys. Welcome to Wednesday. We're going to have an amazing day today. Let's look at what we've got going on. If you look at our weekly agenda, today on Wednesday, you should have already completed the question of the day. You're watching your video. Good job. And you're going to have a journal to complete today. And you're going to read and analyze the poem Life Doesn't Frighten Me. And you're going to complete some questions about the story, so be very careful when you're doing those questions. Go back and look at your story as you're completing those. And you're going to get to read some chapters in Journey to Joburg. Woohoo! I hope you're enjoying that story. Remember, our essential question that we're working on is, how do you find courage in the face of fear? So be thinking about that in the poem that we're working to understand this week. And also think about that with Journey to Joburg. And Miss Cook, I noticed something different today. I see a box sitting here. It's really pretty.
It is very pretty.
So oh, it's really heavy. Why is there a box sitting here?
Well, there's something in the box.
What's in it?
Well, I'm not telling you yet.
Why?
You'll just have to wait and see what's in it.
You mean I have to wait till the end of the video?
The very end.
Do we
But
get a hint?
Oh, yeah.
It's colorful.
Oh, I can pick it up. It's heavy.
And it's colorful.
Heavy and colorful. I can hardly wait till the end of the video to find out what's in this box.
Huh.
Maybe we'll get some more hints as we go.
Hey guys, don't forget to watch this video. This is one of my favorites. I have 7th graders this year who still talk about this poem. He is really amazing, champion, spoken word poetry guy. And here we go.
So we are continuing with Life Doesn't Frighten Me. And remember, you need to sign in there first before you go to HMH, otherwise it won't let you in.
And we are still having some issues with
Yes.
HMH. If you can't get in, I'm putting a file so you can still read the poem. You don't have to go into HMH.
And
We're
remember
trying.
where that file is. When you click on your assignment for today, like you see the video comes up, not in the slideshow, but when you click today, Wednesday, here's the slideshow, here's the assignment. I mean the
PDF.
PDF.
Yep.
So if you can't get into HMH, that's where that is, because we still have a lot of people that are confused by that. So that's where you're going to find that story for today.
Okay. And so when you've got your PDF pulled up, we're going to talk about analyzing a poem today, because sometimes we need to go over and remember how to look at things, especially at the beginning of the year, and especially with poetry, because sometimes poetry can be a little bit more confusing to us than short stories or novels, because a lot of the times the author they don't say things very straightforward. You have to read between the lines. So as you're analyzing today's poem, we need to think, what's the topic? What is Life Doesn't Frighten Me about? What is the author writing about? What's the topic of our poem?
Well, it seems to me, because the title says Life Doesn't Frighten Me, I think that the topic here might be fear, because she's talking about how she's not afraid of a lot of things.
Yeah, she keeps repeating that, doesn't she?
Mhm.
She repeats that line often in her poem, that she's not afraid, or life doesn't frighten me.
And remember, a couple of weeks ago we talked about our 4 P's, about how we need to preview and predict. And when we preview this poem, we're supposed to look at our title first. And then when we preview, we can notice all those refrains, that repetition that the author uses, to help us understand a little bit more about the poem. And then we need to look at, who is the speaker. And remember, we talked about the speaker and the poet sometimes aren't the same person. Sometimes the speaker can be a character or someone that the author of the poem is writing through. So who is the speaker of our poem?
And in this one, I don't think they actually tell us who the speaker is. She gives us clues. And so look really carefully at those clues about who that speaker could be.
Especially if you look towards the last few stanzas, starting at like line 30, 29, 30-ish. It almost seems like maybe someone is in school.
Yeah.
Maybe younger in age. So keep a lookout for like those things in the stanzas, because there are clues put all through there.
And your job as a reader is to go through and find those clues and put them together so that you can solve who's writing this, why they're writing it, and answer all those questions that good readers answer. A good reader is making that video in their head all the time when they're reading, even a poem. And in order to have that video playing out accurately, you're constantly finding those clues and putting them together to know how to film that movie in your brain.
Mhm.
Just like clues for what's in this box. I'm asking, we ask some clue questions about what's in the box so that we can figure it out. You have to watch the whole video to see what's in the box at the end. I have to think critically and analyze what I'm reading as I'm reading to put those clues together.
Exactly. Speaking of clues, clue number 2, it smells good.
Oh,
it's colorful.
Okay, colorful, heavy,
It smells good.
and smells good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm starting to get a guess, but I don't know.
Now, another thing we need to look for when we read the poem is our point of view. Is it told from first person? Does it use I, me, my? Is it third person? Does it use he, she, they, them? So look at your pronouns to see what point of view the poem is in. And if we look just in the first few stanzas, and even in the title, life doesn't frighten me at all. And she says that a lot.
She
She
that
says,
a lot.
dragons breathing flame on my counterpane. So pay attention to the pronouns, and that will help you figure out what point of view that it's told in.
So is this one in first person?
This one's in first person.
Because she's telling the poem about herself.
Mm-hmm. And how life doesn't frighten her. Well, me. And then we're going to look for figurative language. And I know that some of these things you're going to look at and you're probably going to go, I don't remember what that is. So imagery, this is when the author uses their words to paint a picture for you. They use really good descriptive language to help you picture it in your head as you read it.
And poets are really good at that.
Yes.
They're
Poets are
really great
super
at
good
that
at that.
figurative language, the
Mhm.
imagery.
And then there are metaphors. And metaphors are comparisons. So they compare two things, but they don't use like or as. In fact, it's this thing is this thing. So if I said the snow was a blanket on the ground, the snow is being compared to a blanket, right? The snow is a blanket on the ground. So it's a comparison.
So that must mean there's a really heavy layer of snow.
Yes. It's got to be a lot.
I can picture that in my
I
mind
can
now.
picture the
And-
snow looking like a blanket on the ground.
So that's like imagery and a metaphor.
So that's using a lot of good stuff there.
And then similes are next, and similes are comparisons that use like or as. So if I want to change my metaphor into a simile, I could just say the snow is like a blanket on the ground. And then I change my metaphor to a simile. Those two are very close together and can get confusing. So just remember, similes have like or as in that comparison. And then we have onomatopoeias, and
Ooh,
this is
that's
my
favorite.
favorite.
I love
This is my
I love
favorite.
onomatopoeia.
They're so fun. They're your sound words. They're boom, zap, whiz, all those fun
Pow.
words. Pow. So onomatopoeias are sound words, and they are read how they sound to you. They're like those fun comic book words, like pow, zip, zap. And then as you keep going, what's the mood or the tone of the poem? And mood and tone, or how does the poem feel? Is it happy? Is it sad? Is it a little spooky? So the tone of the poem is how the author helps you feel what they're feeling.
And that's important because just like when you're making that movie in your head, you need to know how that movie's going to play out. Is it feeling scary? Because in my head, when I'm reading, it really is like a movie. So I'm even hearing music play out in my head. I've got it all going on up there when I'm reading. Do I hear the scary music? Do I hear the sad music? Are my characters, how do they look? What are their expressions on their faces? Because all of that together changes that text in my brain.
But
It changes that movie.
what I
for me.
find interesting about this poem is that it's about fear, but it doesn't make me feel afraid.
No.
It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah.
So the mood, I think, is a little bit lighthearted and
Mhm.
funny.
So you can't just look at the title and decide the mood.
No, you have to look at the poem and look at those clues and the types of words that the author uses, and see, is it serious or is it a little more playful?
And this author, especially towards the end, she uses a lot of examples that are kind of playful and kind
Mhm.
of funny, that make the tone a lot lighter. And then what is the theme of the poem? And the theme is the message. What is the author trying to get you to understand? What is their message through this poem? And as we go through it, we kind of get the idea that the theme of this is to not let things overwhelm you or frighten you or make you scared. And she uses a lot of different things to change her point of view. Like, is something is scary knocking on her window, she changes that scary thing into something that is different or unique or imaginary to help her not be so afraid.
I think that's useful right now with the
Definitely.
way that things are in the world. There's a lot to be
Definitely,
yes.
scared of, but we can't let that overwhelm us or let our fears take control.
Exactly. And then the last thing, does this poem make you think of any other texts? So you're connecting it with things that you've read before, and it doesn't have to be another text. Sometimes this can make us think of a TV show that we've watched, or a movie, or maybe even a song. And so, does this poem make you think of something else? And if it does, what are the connections that you can make between those things?
And sometimes you even connect to yourself.
Yeah.
And you connect to experience that you have yourself. You make a text to self connection.
And a lot of that is the author's purpose, right? Why did the author write this piece specifically? And sometimes it's to help connect with our readers to where they can put themselves in this position and learn different ways to go about their life.
And when I was reading this poem, something that I connected to a little bit was the story of Parvana. It kind of made me think about her and her bravery and her courage that she had to show in the face of fear.
And that's going to be really important because it also connects with our essential question is, how do you find courage in the face of fear?
Right.
And so make sure as you analyze your poem, you're looking at all of those things. And I know that there's a ton of them to look through, or it feels like there's a lot of them, but just take it one at a time, okay? And you will get through it and it'll be great.
And then you will have your analyze the text questions. That's one of your assignments for today. Remember, you should always watch the video and review your slideshow before you do any assignments, because we'll try to explain everything before you get into your work for the day.
And make sure you go back and read your poem very carefully before you do your questions. And they can use their book to do their questions.
Yes, you have
Shouldn't
that file.
they use their book or their poem?
You have that
the
file of
file.
the poem, and you can definitely, we encourage you to. And then actually, some of your questions will say, line 15. Well, you don't remember what line 15 is unless you actually go back and check
Exactly.
it. So make sure that you're using that resource that we've given you.
Okay, your journal for today, it's Wednesday, so it's a free write day, which means you can choose to write about anything, fiction, nonfiction, anything, your choice. Don't send me back a response that says I can't think of anything. Pick an object, pick a person, write about anything. At least 10 sentences, starts with capital letters, end with punctuation in your sentences, and enjoy your free write day. I've enjoyed reading. A lot of these journals are really good.
For sure. So you guys are working on writing your poem. You've already gotten started. I left these tips in your slideshow in case you still need to look at them. But now what I want you to think about, so you're starting to get into, maybe you already finished your poem. I want you to read it through. Does it say what you want it to say? You should have considered that before you started writing. What do you want to say to your readers? When you read that back through, does it say that? Does it say that to your readers? Does it make you feel the way that you want your readers to feel? think about some of those words. Are you using positive words or negative words? Read through that and think about the way that it's making you feel. And then, can you add in any of that figurative language that Miss Norman was talking about to make a bigger impact? Okay, remember how we talked about you can edit as much as you want, you can move lines, you can move stanzas, you can erase words and erase lines and erase stanzas and add in any way that you want to make it exactly how you want it. And I always encourage you to read your poems out loud. It's gonna sound different than it does in your head. So read it out loud and see how it sounds. Maybe have your mom or dad or brother or sister read it and see if they have any suggestions. And I can't wait to read what you
I
guys
know, I'm
have
so
written.
I'm very excited
So
for your
excited.
poems.
Can't wait to read the next few chapters of Journey to Joburg.
Yes, so chapter 7 to 10. This
Woohoo!
book is
I
just
love
so
this book.
good.
I hope
It's
you're
good.
enjoying this story as much as
Yes.
we do, because we
And-
love this story.
Make sure that you're listening to it, guys, all the way through every day because you will have a test on it on
Yes.
Friday. So it's not just for fun, it is part of your grade as well.
Yes, so be sure to listen through all of that. Once you have completed the slideshow and you've done your analyze the text questions, you have worked on your poem, you've listened to Journey to Joburg, you
done
are
your
done.
journal. Yep.
Oh yeah, you've done
Done
your
your journal.
journal. Don't forget your journal.
Mm-hmm.
You are done for the day.
Excellent job, guys.
Great job, guys.
Hey,
And-
so if we're done,
oh my gosh.
do we get to find out what's
The
in the box?
Let's
Okay,
see.
should we take,
Okay.
should we guess?
Okay,
Do
so
you
it's,
think you know what it is?
I have an idea.
I have an idea too.
Okay, it's colorful,
Colorful,
it's heavy,
heavy.
and it smells,
Smells
good. Is it a
I'm thinking a
candle?
I may have tricked you guys a little bit. So
Uh-oh.
I thought since, it's a Wednesday, you might want a treat.
Oh, even better than a candle.
So-
Gummy worms.
Gummy worms. Did you put heavy things in that box to trick me?
I did. I
She
tricked
knew
you a
I-
little
She
bit.
knew I was gonna open, that I was gonna pick the
Pick it
box
up.
up.
It's
So, those I happen to know, those are Miss Shuttlesworth's favorite.
They are
And I'm
my
sure that Miss
favorite.
Norman
I
likes those as well.
love the
So-
sour stuff.
yay.
Happy Wednesday treat.
Happy Wednesday.
Well, guys, thank you for watching all the way through, and we will see you next time.
Bye.